Emily, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the roll call will reflect that all cabinet members are here and board members except for Wendy Jonathan are present. I'll turn it over to Mr. Bailey for the swearing in of our new student board member.
Thank you, President Griffith. It's my pleasure to swear in our next student board board member this evening. I want you to meet Emily Pruitt, who is to my far left. She's a Summit High School senior and our newest student board member. Emily has attended Palm Desert High School, Horizon School, and now, of course, attends Summit. She states that although her senior year has just begun, the past few weeks have been the highlight of her 4 years in Desert Sands. Her hobbies include art and working. Emily volunteers in local nursing homes and the BNP tennis tournaments. When asked to cite a little-known fact about herself, Emily states, "I know just about every Ben & Jerry's flavor, just not the ones in the flavor graveyard." Emily, do you have any family members you'd like to introduce this evening? Your microphone's in front of you. You want to pull it down? There you go.
I don't have anyone here.
Well, you have us, and welcome to the Desert Sands family. And
My principal and my vice president.
Fantastic. Welcome. Hi, Mr. Zink. You want to come on down and meet me in the front?
Okay, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of September 21st, 2021?
So moved, Linda Porras.
By Linda Porras. Is there a second?
Second, Tricia Pierce.
Seconded by Tricia Pierce. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? That carries 4-0. Mr. Bailey, is there any addenda to this evening's agenda?
There is not.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda of the regular board meeting of October 5th, 2021? Moved by Linda Porras. Is there a second?
Second, Anna Conover.
Seconded by Anna Conover. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote? Emily? Aye? Nay?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. Community staff student recognition. Mr. Bailey.
Going to invite up Ms. Mary Perry, our PIO, and in the process, I would like to recognize the fact that Dr. Jose Ramirez, principal at Summit, is here in our audience. Dr. Ramirez, thank you for supporting Emily. Mary Perry.
Thank you. Good evening. I have a few things to share with you tonight. First of all is congratulations to Tiffany Norton, our Chief Innovation and Information Officer, She was accepted to participate in the COSIN, the Consortium for School Networking, which is a premier professional association for school system technology leaders. And she will be part of their early career K-12 CTO Academy for the 2021-2022 cohort. Unfortunately, Tiffany could not be here this evening, but she did share that she's really appreciative of the honor and sends her best. I'd also like to give a very special recognition to the students at James Carter and Ronald Reagan Elementary Schools for providing artwork with the firefighters and other first responders who were part of the operation to put out the Calder fire in South Lake Tahoe. We were asked by a former resident of the Tahoe area, a former firefighter, to help in this project to share the student art and messages with the over 1,600 men and women on the fire line. The coordinator, Jason Inman, continues to gather artwork, and so anyone interested in participating can give me a call, and you see some of the artwork on the screen. The next picture you're going to see is a list of schools along with a few photos from the Start With Hello program that recently happened a couple of weeks ago. And all of the schools who participated are listed on this slide, and you can see it's a pretty large number. So Start With Hello is a program sponsored by the Sandy Hook Promise organization, and it encourages students to work to prevent violence while helping their peers in small but powerful actions to promote inclusion and to support students who show signs of loneliness or social isolation. And so the week was a really fun week with all kinds of activities at all of the different schools, reminding our students to reach out to that student who's standing there alone, sitting by himself, eating lunch by herself. And so we're very proud that the students participated in this. And lastly is an invitation for early tomorrow morning. Walk to School Day takes place this week, tomorrow. It's a day that encourages students and families to use safe walking routes to school. It began in 1997, and this year staff and families at Roosevelt Elementary and Dr. Carrion Academy will begin their day by walking to school. The Roosevelt Walk begins at 6:30, and the Dr. Carrion Walk begins at 7:50. If you're interested in joining the school walks, let me know, and I'll provide additional information. And finally, I'd like to introduce Sean Webb, Director of Community Engagement and the Foundation, who's going to give you some news about our wonderful Desert Sands Educational Foundation. Sean?
Thank you, Mary. We have some foundation news here. On Monday, September 20th, we had our second board meeting, and the following things were passed that I feel I should share with all of you. Let's see here. The first thing that is come about, Desert Sands teacher mini grants are available up to $10,000. For up to $400 can be requested. Funds were raised from the last Chili Dog Open. At the meeting, the board took action to house the Hunter Lopez Memorial Scholarship Fund. Mr. Schmidt and the Lopez family are working together to form a scholarship committee where the proceeds will benefit the students of La Quinta High School who look to pursue post-high school education in public service. As of yesterday, over $20,000 has been brought in. And in May of 2019, when I took my position, I quoted my favorite football coach, Marv Levy, fasten your seatbelts. With that being said, I'd like to personally invite you to our first fundraiser for the Desert Sands Educational Foundation on November 6th, where it's called the Foundation Express. We're going to we're going to enjoy the backyards of two beautiful estates, and the funds raised for this event will be made available for all PE teachers for equipment for later in the school year. In regards to community engagement, very exciting news. This upcoming Monday, on October 11th, we'll be celebrating Heroes Night at the BNP Paribas Open. Up to 1,000 tickets are available for all Desert Sands staff on a first-come, first-served basis. During the night, they plan to share quotes from our Recognize It program, and they're going to read the quotes from the back of the certificates and where people were nominated on their PA system, as well as they're going to share videos taken by the DSUSD communications team during the pandemic to honor all Desert Sands staff. And since we're talking about Recognize It, I want to mention that to date, since it started, we have over 1,900 staff members that have been nominated, 130 just in this year alone. And for each month, winners receive certificates, as well as the ones that are randomly drawn receive a CV harvest box. And lastly, I want to say that in the last 12 months, our Facebook followers and social media has grown over 25%. And that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to introduction of new or recently promoted employees. Dr. Hyde? None? None. Okay, information items. We have the Head Start program reports for June and July of 2021. Staff conference items, there are none. Next on the agenda is the public hearing. Public hearing number 02-2021-2022, pupil textbook and instructional materials compliance for the fiscal year of 2021-2022. We will open the hearing at 7:11. Anybody wishing to be heard on this item can approach the podium and speak about our textbook adoption.
Good evening, Cabinet and Board. I'm Trina Alisi, Desert Sands Teachers Association President, and I am speaking during this public hearing because I want to express the pride that I have in working for Desert Sands. I feel that we are a very well-oiled machine, and I know that we strive for all of our students to have access to the curriculum, whether it be textbooks or technology. And I have served on our curriculum council before. That is also a very well-oiled machine, and I believe that we have a mechanism for allowing input from our educators, the ones who are actually going to be teaching the content. I think we have a great system for introducing new classes, especially like at the secondary level when somebody wants to introduce a new class. That's done very well. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'm a very proud Desert Sands district employee because I believe that we do things right, and we do them to the best of our ability, and most of the time we are successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard on the textbook issue? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public comment at 7:13. Discussion, COVID-19 response update. Mr. Bailey.
Thank you. I'll start off with Dr. Kelly Mae Vollmer from Education Services.
Thank you. I have no updates this evening.
Okay, Mr. Hyde, any updates?
Yes, I'm pleased to report that the district has completed the initial phase of the verification of vaccine status for all employees and has determined its weekly testing needs. This week, Personnel Services will send information related to the district's process for weekly testing of non-fully vaccinated employees to impacted staff. The weekly testing of non-fully vaccinated employees will begin the week of October 11th through the 14th, 2021.
Thank you. Mr. Aquino, Business Services.
None at this time.
And lastly, Laura Fisher, Assistant Superintendent, Student Support Services.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bailey. On October 1st, 2021, Governor Newsom issued a press release indicating that he has directed the California Department of Public Health to follow the existing statutory and regulatory process for adding the COVID-19 vaccine to the other vaccinations required for school enrollment. The additional information published along with the press release indicates the vaccine requirement will also apply to K-12 school employees. We await further direction from state officials regarding the implementation rules and timelines. The district continues to provide vaccine clinics for all our district staff, students, and community. We have 3 clinics scheduled in the month of October. Saturday, October 2nd, here at Deck North from 9 to 12. That was last Saturday, sorry about that. Saturday, October 9th, at the high school, Indio High School gym from 9 to 1. And Thursday, October 21st, at Deck North again from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We are adding additional vaccine clinics that will also include the flu vaccine. And we also continue to offer opportunities for voluntary COVID-19 PCR testing for both employees and students. The testing clinics are available for students and staff Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 5:30. Monday at La Quinta High School, Tuesday at Shadow Hills, Wednesday at Indio High School, Thursday at Palm Desert High School, and Friday at the lobby at Deck North. All this information and registration is found on the district website under the superintendent's Super Seconds and also through Peach Jar. These opportunities provide staff and students on a modified quarantine due to being a close contact to receive that required testing, along with anyone who wishes to be tested. And just to end, October is National Bullying Prevention Month to highlight the importance of fostering welcoming, identity-safe, and inclusive schools and communities. This year is especially important as so many of our students have been away from each other and are adjusting to new ways of socializing and learning in person. Bullying can leave devastating and often long-term effects such as loss of self-esteem, increased anxiety, and depression for all involved. We all have a hand in creating mentally and physically safe schools for our kids by increasing understanding of and empathy for each other. We will be sharing the work of our sites across the district and promoting kindness, empathy, and inclusion in our Friday letter and a presentation at the October 19th board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher, and that concludes our remarks on item 15.1.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Now turn it over to Anna Conover for public comment on open session items.
Thank you. There are no online comments. Communications from the floor. In accordance with bylaws of the board 9323, time is reserved for oral communications by members of the Board of Education or by citizens present. Citizens wishing to be heard on agenda items shall have a 3-minute limit and should indicate their intention at this time. In accordance with the law, decisions of the board cannot be made on any matter not previously published before the board meeting, as indicated in bylaws of the board 9323.2. First is Tara Coughlin.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Tara Coughlin. I wanted to address the board. Thank you for letting us be here. I think you know my son Chase. He's gotten up at a few board meetings now. I'm his mother. And when I think of Chase, I think of the vaccine mandate. My son is 17 years old, and by the grace of God, he's here. He's had 5 open heart surgeries. He's got 1 kidney. He's got epilepsy. He's got lots of different things going on. He's got ADD. He's got autism. He had 2 trigger thumbs. And you guys want me to make a decision about a vaccine? I can't get one of the doctors at Stanford, Loma Linda, or even at UCLA, which is the hospitals he's been through for medical treatment, to stand behind a vaccine. And I have something I'd like to read. And this is just food for thought. Of the vaccines I've taken in my life, tetanus shots, measles, mumps, polio, meningitis, TB shots, etc., never have I heard so many lies and deceptions over a vaccine that says I have to wear a mask and socially distance, even when fully vaccinated, and then I could still contract or spread the virus even after being fully vaccinated. Never have I had to get tested when I was perfectly healthy without any symptoms whatsoever. Never been bribed by the establishments to take the vaccine in order to win a holiday or cash prizes or earn frequent flyer points. I never had to worry about cardiac issues, neurological issues, blood clots, and sadly more. Didn't even have to worry about death. Never have I been threatened by the use of force by the government, employers, police force, and military for a vaccine as seen overseas. I have never been judged by my friends or relatives if I didn't take it. I was never discriminated against for travel and other regular services to a point where I could not buy or sell without it. The vaccines I've listed are above never told me I was a bad person for not taking them or taking them for that matter. I have never seen a vaccine that threatened the relationship between my family members and or close friends to a point of destroying relationships with them. Never have I seen it used for political gain. Never have I seen a vaccine needling 24/7 mass media advertising and promotion on the media outlet known to man. Then there's mixing and matching different vaccine brands and being told it's okay to take one day and one the other day and not this one now, and then now we need a booster. I have never seen a vaccine threaten someone's livelihood as it will wipe out their jobs. I have never seen a vaccine that allows a 12-year-old to consent and supersede the parent's choice. Finally, and after all vaccines I listed above, I've never seen a vaccine like one that discriminates, divides, judges society. So much information is censored, deleted, and removed from the internet and mainstream media. So many doctors and healthcare professionals, police and scientists are censored and forbidden to speak out or ask legitimate questions when what is being allowed is not allowed, and it doesn't make sense.
Hi, I'd like to talk about how the past few weeks at my school, my English teacher has repeatedly told kids to wear their mask during class while he is refusing to wear his. And I had a substitute yesterday ask every kid in the class if they've been vaccinated or not. Then I had a substitute today tell kids that they need to be vaccinated and they need to wear the mask even if they are vaccinated. And I have been told by my English teacher, I brought this up last time, he cursed me out for wearing a Trump shirt. My school has had the mask mandates, and I have an exemption because I can't wear a mask. I got yelled at by a teacher for not wearing it, and at my school, the teachers need to tell the truth. My teacher was told, you're not allowed to play CNN anymore, but on the lesson plans for the sub was play CNN, even though all of us said, don't play CNN. So then he decided, let's talk about our vaccine status and the mandates, instead of having an open discussion. And me and my teacher, my math teacher, have started the Teenage Republican Club, which allows kids to learn about the party and what's going on in the current political climate. And it's very, very good, because I think people should be able to have both sides of the issue. And I think that my school, I really like my school, and I think you shouldn't mandate vaccines if you don't mandate, you shouldn't mandate vaccines for students and staff if people in the government don't have to get the vaccine. That doesn't make any sense. And one more thing is, to whoever journalists are here tonight, please report on this honestly and do not spin it for a narrative. I looked up, the Desert Sun is owned by USA Today, which is one of the biggest fact-checking sites, and CBS owns KESQ, which is part of Nickelodeon, which is known for putting left-wing indoctrination into little kids. And in my school, they also are affiliated with CBS and Inside Edition, and NBC Palm Springs. Well, they're affiliated with NBC, so you probably know what their agenda is, but that's it. Bye.
Thank you. Next is Jimmy Califf. Jimmy Califf.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Califf. I want to congratulate you on pronouncing my last name right. It's a tough one to get. Thank you for letting me come here and speak. Welcome to everybody else here. I decided to do some research, and when I went to school, they taught me how to do research on things like this. And so I came up with a few things. I looked up a country that was ridiculed, thrown under the bus, told them that they were murderers and everything else when this COVID first came out. And that country was Sweden. And they've fallen into the cracks and you don't hear anything about it. So I started to research it and I looked up some numbers. And this is Sweden, who didn't have any masks, didn't have any mandates, doesn't have the vaccine, didn't close down the shops, didn't close down their economy or anything else. And I compared it with the US. And the cases altogether, and these are on 100,000 per 100,000, per cases, 10,189 cases per 100,000 in Sweden, 14,000 in the US, who has mask mandates and everything else, as you know. The active cases that are going on right now as we speak, 289 per 100,000 in Sweden, 3,100 in the United States. The deaths are 134 per 100,000 in Sweden and 232 here in the United States. Their recovery rate there is 11,200 people per 100,000 recovering. In the US, 10,300. So whatever Sweden's doing, I think they're doing better than us and they're doing it right. And that involves no mask, no mandate. And what they attribute that to is the natural antibodies that people develop while being exposed to it are far stronger than any vaccine that's out there. The vaccine, by the way, has proven that half the people that have got the vaccine still get the virus, and the other half don't. I don't know about you, but when I get on a plane, I want the pilot to say, I'm pretty much 100% sure, not 50% sure we're going to make it. And the same thing with going skydiving. If someone's packing my parachute, I don't want them to say, well, there's a 50% chance you're going to make it. 100% is a lot better. And with that, people talked about the virus and the vaccine. Polio vaccine it took 40 years to develop before people got it. The smallpox vaccine took 8 years to develop, and it killed 500 million, 500 million people, while the time that it was being developed. That's far more than anything else. And what they did at the time is they tried everything as well. They threw anything that you wanted at it to try and fix it. Today, we don't do that. That should make us think about what's going on. I appreciate your time, and thank you for letting me share.
Good afternoon, board members, superintendent, and everyone else present. I am here again in front of you. It was a year ago that I came and spoke in person in front of you due to my letters being read in a manner to where it didn't emphasize how I felt about what was going on. I came here and I told you in the beginning why all this was being done, and I am so ashamed that you have not proven me wrong. You follow the money, and it leads you to what is going on. It's all about the money. You have not convinced me otherwise. The disconnect between you guys and the communities continues to be overwhelming. You are doing a disservice to the children, first and foremost. We need high-quality education to be provided to all of them, and that is not taking place. The only way, I'm not here to ask you to do anything. You have proven that you're not willing or capable of doing anything. You keep sending us to Sacramento, telling us that your hands are tied. Okay, well, I have no idea why we even have your positions available. Why do we even have a school board if you're not able to do anything for our families and our children? It makes no sense whatsoever. But once again, I'm not here to ask of you to do anything. I asked you several times to do what's best for our children, and you have not done anything, in my opinion. So I am here today to say that I am going to continue to fight. For the record, I have become ambassador for the parent union for the Riverside County, and I am going to fight till the end for school choice to pass to where the money is going to follow the child. That's the only way that the unions are not going to have the power that they have right now, because it's going to be removed. I mean, they're right now taking care of teachers that do not belong in our classrooms. Just because they have the years put in, they are being fought for. I don't believe in that. I believe your work ethic and your character should say if you should still have a job or not. And Mr. Griffith has told us time and time again how we should recall this board, recall us. If you don't agree with us, recall us. Well, ask and you shall receive. Tricia Pierce, you are being served.
Thank you. Next is John Parker. John Parker.
Well, that was pretty cool. Good job. You know, I've been coming here for a few months now, it seems, and parents and some teachers have been presenting reasoned arguments supported by facts, excuse me, with a varying degree of passion and enthusiasm. The bottom line is they expect to have a say in the discussion to mask their children, inject their children with an unknown substance, teach their kids about sex, and teach them that they are oppressed or the oppressor. But it occurs to me that we're asking the wrong question, and she brought it up, kind of hit it on the nail head. The government has thrown billions at school since this experiment started. And I always scratched my head and went, well, why are we sending billions to schools that are closed? I didn't quite get that. The question is, what strings are attached to that money? Are you required to enforce their direction to get money? If you stopped requiring masks, would you lose funding? So the real question is, are you harming the health of children for money? Thank you.
Hi, so I'd just like to finish up my little talk with you from 2 weeks ago. I didn't get quite to finish. So we talked about, I told you about the Secretary of State and former CIA Director Pompeo and the views he had with Chinese infiltration into this country. So we're aware that you have been taking exchange trips to China for more than 10 years, and we know that this goes through the California School Board Association, which is a very left-wing organization. In fact, it's a 501c4 nonprofit, and from their own 1099 or their own IRS 990 forms, they say that they are aggressively advocating for our cause. We're a member of that, I believe, correct? This district? I'll get to that in a minute. I want to take a side trick. Like you, I traveled to China. Unlike you, the Communist Party did not pay for my travel. I traveled there right after Tiananmen Square, within a year after Tiananmen Square. Unlike you, I was not there just for the tours. I actually got to go meet people. I was followed by the Chinese Secret Service. Get ready for that. I got to know the people. Our problem is not with the Chinese people. I can tell you firsthand, they're salt of the earth. Our problem is with the Chinese Communist Party and them paying for your travel. So we know from board minutes that these are official travel. You get paid when you are gone. but there's no record of it anywhere. I've asked your information officer twice now for different things, for the Shanghai Municipal Education Commission, for CBSA, for CSBA, and for the Shanghai Institute, which originally started that. I'm getting nothing. So we're going to start doing public information requests just based on email words. So you might want to hire her a little help, I think. So one thing that's really bothering me here is that in this boardroom in 2018, you stated that the Chinese Communist Party asked to have access to our older Chinese students. And before you'd say anything else, if you think anybody is traveling outside of China that's not a member of the Chinese Communist Party, you're sorely mistaken. I can tell you from experience. So, they paid for your travel over 10 years. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars are we expected to believe they want nothing in return. Where are these records? You got paid for it. Is there any agreement with the California School Board Association, which, by the way, is an arm of the National School Board Association, which just 2 days ago wrote Mr. Biden, the occupier of Washington, and asked them to declare us domestic terrorists because we're speaking to you. We paid for that, folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Catherine Silvera.
Good afternoon, Cabinet and trustees. I'm Kate Silvera. I'm an elementary school art specialist here in the district, as well as a parent of 2 elementary age kids in the district as well. Before I get to my main point, I do want to thank you for the updated visual and performing arts policy you will be voting on today. By changing the passive language of this policy, you have decided to make art education a priority in this district. I see every day how art can help students grow personally and educationally. I see students come into my classroom closed off and uninterested, but with the ability to express themselves in a creative and safe place. These students leave my classroom engaged and do feel heard. Now, I have been to many board meetings to understand policy changes you generate, to advocate for the district educators and staff, and to most importantly, listen. I listen to see how you will be protecting your staff members. I listen to see how you will keep our students and children safe physically and mentally. I listen to how you plan to help educate our community's children in an equitable and inclusive curriculum. I also listen to how you respond to the hate that emanates from this room. I hear you respond to those who would rather not have the inconvenience of protecting the vulnerable or using the dog whistle talking points. Instead of unequivocally standing behind your staff and teachers' education and expertise, or standing up for your students' health, you apathetically mention how you're just following the rules from the state. I hear your words and how you want to protect and educate, but what I see is a dramatic increase in class sizes, 30 or plus elementary students crammed in a small room, and an educator with no time and space to meet the individual needs. I hear your staff and educators say they need more support, more counselors, more interventionists, more resource specialists. As only one elementary art specialist up here, I cannot speak for the collective, but please listen to my experience. I have been vocal in my advocacy, but it's not free from consequences. I have been contacted multiple times, called names, told to quit by multiple members of this audience. I have been sought out by others who have called me names, questioned my qualifications, and had the intent to scare me away. I have been followed to my car, being harassed while leaving these board meetings. I come here to these meetings and hope to hear that you will protect your educators and staff. Instead, I hear words to appease those who spew this hate. Your staff and educators are working around the clock for this community and the students they serve. As you sit here trying to play both sides, your educators, interventionists, paras, and all other staff members have their boots on the ground, working in a broken system, trying to provide the best for their students. The least you can do is publicly and through policy have their backs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is John Whiteman.
Good evening. I'm a father of 3 boys that attend Desert Sands School. 2 are in high school and 1 in middle school. Since our children are forced to wear masks at school all day, even when they come out, they look. I came and picked up my son the other day because I wanted to see what it looked like. They get out of school, they know that they don't have to wear the mask anymore, but they look like sheep walking across the street, even though they know that they don't have to take them off. They're conditioned. You guys are conditioning our children to behave, or there's going to be consequences. With that being said, I'm requesting you pay for these throwaway masks. These masks are expensive. I have 3 kids. For 50 days, it will cost me $105. As I've stated before, when I was here before, on the box it says it does not stop any disease. It doesn't stop you from getting sick. But what it does do, like Dr. Fauci says, it makes people feel safe. So you sit all up there, and I'm sure you feel safe. This is a total joke. What makes me feel safe are these people out here. I can see all their faces. With the amount of money you received through COVID and all your negotiations with our communist and governor, I'm sure for you to pay for masks would not break the budget. You give masks that are cloth, that say the school's name on it, and they look pretty and cute and whatnot. My son can't wear those masks. He breaks capillaries every single day he wears those masks. He tells us, Mom, Dad, I can't breathe very well when I'm wearing these masks. I said, son, you don't need to wear your mask when you go from class to class. You're outside. The virus only lives inside. He is scared to death to take off his mask because he's afraid one of his teachers are going to yell at him. All you've done is condition our kids to be scared. This is on you. I don't know how you walk this back, but if you vaccinate these kids, are you going to tell them that you can take the mask off then? Yep. That's never going to happen. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Kyle Burkhart. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. The first thing I want to address is something that you had said last meeting. You stated you were doing this for the safety of our children, and I would like to know what exactly you're doing that is safe. As you can tell, masks haven't worked. Vaccines don't work. Kids are still getting sick. People are still getting sick. There's nothing safe about it, about wearing a mask, except for the fact, as that gentleman had just said, you feel safe, but feeling safe doesn't keep you safe. What these mask mandates are, how does it prove to be effective considering the last 18 months we've continued to get COVID and vaccinated individuals? I'm no expert, but I do have common sense. In fact, according to the CDC, the institution that you claim as gospel and you claim to be following, states that in 2020 there were over 74 million children in the United States. From January 1st, 2020 to September 25th, 2021, 18 months, only 593 COVID-related deaths for children 0 to 17. This means that 0.00008% of children in the United States have died from COVID. Of those, 90% had a comorbidity. However, in 2019, in just 12 months, ages 0 to 17, over 3,000 kids were killed in motor vehicle accidents. That's 5 times as many. Yet we continue to drive our children every day to and from school. All right? According to the CDC now, we have 99.99% chance to survive COVID, but that's not the case when we're taking these vaccines and wearing these masks. According to a new trial just published by Pfizer and Moderna, showed that 1 in 1,000 children are either dying or having vaccine complications. According to VAERS and the CDC websites, again, who you're calling gospel, since December 2020, they have had over 609,000 adverse reactions and over 7,000 deaths. This is 11 times more deaths than that of the children over the last 18 months. The last thing I have to say is, we the people are tired of these masks and these vaccine mandates. These are mandates, these are not laws. By no means do you have any obligation to follow them. I, and I'm sure a majority of these people here, do not care if someone gets vaccinated or wears their mask. All we're asking for is the freedom to make the choice for our children and ourselves. I am a United States Army vet, and I've seen socialism in non-free countries firsthand. I fought side by side with men and women fighting this fight against socialism and tyranny, and I'm ready to fight side by side with my local community. This board has turned their backs on our children, families, parents, and teachers. I started a group called the Freedom Parents just less than 72 hours ago, and we have over 3,000 members. I'm ready to fight.
Is Brandy Burkhardt?
Hello, I want to say that thank you again for having us and giving me the opportunity to speak today. Again, that is my right, though, as well as a parent. I have 2 children here at the school district who have been here from the start of their education, and I thought I actually really stood behind you guys. This is actually my 2nd meeting ever that I've attended, and I thought I put my trust into you guys, and I've learned from last meeting that I was completely blind, and I have to open my eyes and stand up for my children. I'm not here to give you facts. I don't have them. Everybody else has given them to you. But what I'm asking you is, where's your common sense? You're telling me that you're keeping my kids safe. Again, by how? What are you doing? You don't know my children. You don't know their medical history. You don't know their medical records. You probably don't even know who they are. So how are you telling me that putting a vaccine in my child is what's best for my child? You don't know them. And as the left, the right, the Democrat, the Republican, I don't care about any of that. What I care about as a parent is be able to make that choice for my child. I tell my child to stand up for themselves, and they're going to. They're not going to be, like you said, the sheep. I tell my kids, don't wear your mask if you don't have to. If someone hands it to you, say no, thank you. They can still be respectful and take care of themselves as individuals. Don't let them follow everybody else. Just because someone says, hey, let's do this, we all have to jump on board. No, we can make decisions for ourselves. And that's what we really need to focus on. And that's all I ask. If you want to get vaccinated, great, good for you. That is your choice. This is our body, our choice. These are our kids, our choice. You can't tell me how to raise my children. You're not a part of our day-to-day routines. And it breaks my heart that you guys sit here and constantly are telling us what we need to do as parents. You're supposed to be working with us. We're supposed to be a unified front, a team. And we don't have that anymore, and we lost that. And it breaks my heart as a parent to see that. I really hope that one day you guys will open up and just really sit here and think, if child A is vaccinated and child B is not, and you have an unknown party, who's not to say that that unknown party gets it from A or B? We don't know. You guys can't predict that. So why are we going to tell our kids to live in fear? We want them to grow and express themselves and live their best to their ability and have the best education. And I thought that's what they were getting. And it breaks my heart to see that my son no longer wants to attend school. He'd rather be homeschooled. And I don't want him to lose out on the opportunity of having the function, the dances, being with his best friend. But he's going to be taken away from all that if we can't come together and work together as a unified front. We don't have to follow the mandates. We can set our own terms here. It's not a law. So thank you for listening to me, and you guys have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Next is Celeste Feeler.
Good evening. First,
I think we all exit the meeting at the same time and we all park in the same parking lot. So we don't follow anybody. I've never seen this group of parents ever do that. But moving forward, angry parents have every right to be here, every right to get involved, every right to push back on the mandates that you allow. School boards have done nothing but gaslight parents across the country with excuses that your hands are tied. When I ran for school board in 2020, I ran with two things in mind: giving parents a voice and putting students first. I was defeated by the total opposite. If you can't stand up for students, then you need to be removed and let a parent have that seat. If you think for 1 second that parents who love their children and are here to protect them, the only group that can't defend themselves are domestic terrorists, then consider every single one of us just that. But I don't remember paying dues to the teachers union. That's the real domestic terrorist in all of this. The unions paid Newsom $1.7 million to have a choice when it comes to vaccine mandates, masks, and critical race theory. Our kids are forced to sell cookie dough and wrapping paper. They don't even have a chance when it comes to paying off a governor. The union wants to defund the police on school campus and in our communities, which causes fear for parents and teachers, while throwing our children to the wolves. As a law enforcement wife, you will not teach my children to hate their father. If you look around, you've managed to make sure you're protected with 4 security guards and 4 deputies. The irony. I, being a domestic terrorist, you'll see me in the pickup line and the drop-off lines of 3 different schools, rushing 3 kids to sports and at the high school football games because I love my children. What you won't see this tired terrorist mom doing is burning down buildings, destroying property, physically assaulting people, throwing Molotov cocktails out my car window, or murdering anyone. I'm a law-abiding citizen who wants a fair and healthy education for my children and raise my children to respect everybody. So don't mess with parents protecting their children because you will lose.
No last name, just Kelly? Yeah.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. Tonight, I am representing and speaking on behalf of our children, parents, and educators. I am a proud teacher within this district. My passion and focus has always been about children. So when I was first hired as a new, young, and aspiring teacher, I thought Desert Sands would be the school district where I would retire. However, this district, the board, and union has recently made me reconsider. I have been blessed to work at the best elementary school with such a supportive principal and amazing staff who are more like family. Every day, I show up to give my students 110% of my energy. My class is built on connections, relationships, inclusion, and acceptance of all students. The definition of inclusion is the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized, such as those who have physical or mental disabilities and members of other minority groups. I'm not so sure Desert Sands is practicing inclusion as much as they wish. Recently, teachers were asked to fill out and turn in a COVID-19 vaccination status disclosure form. This district has not only let our parents and children down, but you are now invading your teacher's right to medical privacy and freedom of choice. Not only am I a teacher, but a soon-to-be first-time mother, and what I'd like to know is what is your purpose for the forms and next steps after collecting them? What comes next after marginalizing and testing the unvaccinated? Will you mandate vaccines and fire those who decline? Will you not only fire a hardworking and dedicated teacher, but also a pregnant teacher who chooses to protect herself and baby. Do you call that being equal or inclusive? And if you are so concerned about COVID, why are you not testing the vaccinated when they can still get COVID? If this is your plan, you're going to have a hard time replacing many driven teachers and educators. If your plan is to further force the vaccine on our students, be prepared to lose many students whose parents choose to protect their children. In case you forgot your role, let me remind you that education is far more than just teaching. We are not in the business of forcing mandates and rules. We are in the business of serving our children, families, and community. Our role is to reach out, listen, and protect children. These are not your children, these are our children. Let us have a decision and voice when it comes to them. When I look at our district, board, and union, I wonder who sticks up and fights for us. Then I'm quickly reminded that my God will always protect and fight for me. Throughout the Bible, children are referenced many times, which should tell you they are a precious gift. Psalms 127:3 says, "Don't you see that children are God's best gift? The fruit of the womb is his generous legacy." I will stay in this district and teach as long as I can. I choose to stay and fight for my students in my classroom. However, my own child will never see the inside walls of public education.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is Jessica.
Good evening. I'm going to start with hello, because since we did that at our school sites, because showing kindness is being kind to one another and accepting each other for who we are. Our mission is to inspire and nurture every student, one opportunity at a time. Our vision will be the district of choice to successfully prepare every student for college and career and life. I have a question as a teacher and a parent. If you, as a school district, are going to potentially push these vaccine mandates upon the students and the parents' choices to not vaccinate their kids, then how are we going to get our students and children career and college ready? We have already seen the devastating and negative effects of the shutdown with the students with their mental health and academics. So we are just going to ignore all this and force them into independent and online learning and take away the extracurricular activities? Do you not care about these children? Children need to be in the classroom learning, building friendships, and being social. Kids are learning to be fearful rather than focusing on being positive and just being a kid. What is going to happen to students who choose not to get vaccinated and not go to in-person learning? A higher rate of them dropping out of school? I hope to God not. You cannot take away this right from the students. Newsom stated that he was going to add this vaccine to the list of already required immunizations for students to attend school. Here's one thing. With vaccines such as polio, MMR, and varicella, you become immune to these diseases. But when you get the COVID-19 vaccine, you can still get COVID and spread it. So why are we mandating these vaccines for staff and students? Statistics show that there is a 99.997% survival rate from COVID between the ages of 0 to 19. There have also been reports of children getting myocarditis from the vaccine. As a parent, I am so scared to give my kids that vaccine and take that risk for them. The Mental Health America reported from January to September 2020, there was a 93% increase of people with anxiety. And then from September 2020, 70% of people reported loneliness and isolation. Why are we doing this to our kids? If we force kids out of in-person learning, we will see these rates increase. All of this is inhumane. What happened to my body, my choice? Please don't make these vaccines a requirement for the children. Let it be a choice so they can get schooling and succeed in life. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Nicholas Rose.
Alrighty, it's hard to change gears. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board and members of cabinet. During the previous board meeting, I spoke about this moment being an opportunity for certificated, classified, and administrative staff to come together and work to strengthen the bonds of our district values of teamwork, kindness, relationships, and respect. And as Dr. Fisher said, I guess we're in an anti-bullying month here in October, and the Start With Hello campaign that was referenced. So I hope you can understand my dismay and my heartbreak when I receive phone calls from members who are in tears, who are overwhelmed, and who feel bullied and belittled by their supervisors. They ask me about retirement and needing to use sick leave because they dread coming into work. I can appreciate that administrators are feeling the stress of this moment as well, and that's why my challenge for you tonight is to make sure that all DSUSD staff feel heard and supported. It is a privilege to get to work for a school district, and it should be a positive working environment because we all play a part in creating an excellent educational experience for our students. We've hired new principals and new assistant principals, and some of them have never had the level of responsibility that they have now. But they must be held to the highest standards when it comes to our district's values of teamwork, kindness, relationships, and respect. I hope you would all agree that all staff should feel good about coming into work. I know I appreciate the opportunities we have to make a difference for our students and the opportunities to cultivate a positive learning environment. I look forward to continue working with the district to advocate on behalf of our classified bargaining unit and to resolve these concerns. I also wanted to thank the Fiscal Services Department and our payroll specialists for the work they've put in toward resolving the classified specialist MOU back wage remedy. Some of these members have received back wage remedy checks of $20,000 or more, with one receiving a check of a little over $42,000. I appreciate the work that the CSEA negotiations team and the DSUSD team put in to do the right thing for these loyal district staff members. Our members are also voting to ratify our tentative agreement on the reclassification and positions adjustment MOU next week, and we're back to the table to discuss our successor agreement on October 12th. I'm excited about continuing to work with Dr. Hyde and the district's team to ensure positive labor relationships so that we can continue to provide excellent student services for the children and families at Desert Sands. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Wendy Byer. Wendy? Is there anybody outside? No?
Oh, there she is.
Okay, good evening. CalSec said again is my topic. I've already pointed you to New York v. Ferber, Supreme Court definition of abuse of a child sexually. I encourage you to read it. This is a peer-reviewed study. After adjusting for covariance, the prevalence of depression was found to be higher in subjects with experience of sexual intercourse, higher in men than women, by the way, guys. On categorizing subjects into two groups based on suicidality, subjects with sexual intercourse experience had higher odds ratios for depression with suicidality. Again, more boys than girls. Than depression without suicidality, we identified the relationship between sexual behavior and the prevalence of depression in adolescents with the experience of sexual intercourse were more likely to have depression with suicidality. You're encouraging our kids to be sexually experimental at even earlier ages than that. Are you out of your minds? Suggesting that they get a vegetable to use as a sex toy. Women, I ask you, what good a carrot does in your vagina? Seriously. And I don't talk about these things, and I don't use this terminology, but are you out of your minds? Once again, CalSec said, as my topic some months ago, a group of concerned parents begged the DSUSD to forestall the implementation of this hideous curriculum. It is a curriculum. I'm quoting board member Ms. Jonathan. She is reported to have said, and I quote, "If you have a problem with this, talk to Sacramento, not us." We heard the same thing from Mr. Griffith at a meeting. Hiding behind Sacramento. Now I turn your attention to Ballotpedia. which interviewed Ms. Jonathan vis-a-vis her opinions on various matters for the purpose of her 2017 campaign. For the audience, please do not believe me. Go to Ballotpedia to see this. Her response from a multiple choice question regarding the most important component of education was that curriculum trumped parental involvement, any particular teacher, and other aspects of education. She also indicated that Sacramento should be listening to the school boards and not the other way around. What has happened? Common logic dictates then that this school board should refuse CalSecEd and stand up to Sacramento. And by the way, if you stood, these people would be your best friends. I promise we'd get your backs. Convoluted logic indicates that either one, those answers to Ballotpedia were meant to obfuscate truth, I hope not, or this board has been compromised either by money or threat. If it's threat, again, I promise we'll get your backs. In any case, the paramount consideration must be the child. Ezekiel 33, God takes no pleasure in punishing the wicked. But when it comes to his kids, I promise you he will do it. And it will not come from us, and it will not come from a domestic terrorists. So change your minds, be restored, and just for yucks, Yahweh, I promise you, has a lot more money than the CCP, than Sacramento, and anybody else, the teachers' unions.
Is it Zamora? Yes. Okay.
Hello, my name is Daniel Zamora, U.S. Navy veteran. I graduated Indio High School in 1999. And I'm concerned because I have 3 beautiful kids in this school district. One's 17, one's 15, and one is 8 years old. On March 10th, I sent an email to every single one of you guys up there, to the school board. And I received 2 responses of my concerns about, teaching. Teachers, some teachers are fantastic. Some need to be up to date. They're old school. There's no way that all teachers can teach some students equally. We're all different. Now, my concern is this. My son, they've been very anxious because of the curriculum. Do you know how many assignments were assigned every single day? Between 10 to 15 assignments a day. For a daily basis. They accumulate. They cannot finish those assignments on time. By that, they get anxious. I had to hire a psychiatrist to help my kid with anxiety. I was being anxious. My wife, my other kids. And I guarantee you, my kid is not the only one. There's many kids out there that feel the same way. And the support, look up your email, March 10th. You'll find it. Please look at it. If you really care about our kids, read it. And what that email says, basically it says that all over the nation this is happening. It's not a surprise. It's a challenge for you guys. It's a challenge for us. We're a team here. Our kids are a priority. You guys have a responsibility to our kids. We have a responsibility to our kids. I normally don't like to come to meetings, but I decided to come because if I don't speak up for my kids, who will? Nobody else will. Obviously, I sent an email. Emails don't work these days. We have to come and be in person, I guess. And I'm a little upset, yes. But it's for a good cause because we need to find a solution. And the solution, the curriculum, the pass, no pass, law grade, you guys know about that, right? Because most people, 83% of the kids have an F. Pre-pandemic years. Look up the data. I challenge you. Look at the data. How many kids have an F now, pre-pandemic? And 83% or more have an F. And that's not a surprise. So you cannot hold our kids accountable to the A, B, C, D system. So I'm glad that the no pass, we had to fill out that form, remember guys? So let's look into that. How can we get working together?
We'll go to board and superintendent comments. Emily, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I am one of those students, I am one of those students. I am a fully vaccinated student who still wears her mask, and I am okay with it. It is my choice. It was my choice to be vaccinated, my choice to wear my mask, and my school does provide me with masks. Get one just about every day. I love my school. Right now I have straight A's. Last year I had F's. The year before that I had F's and D's. And the year before that I failed my freshman year. But right now I'm doing amazing. So my school is amazing and has really done a lot for me. And that'll be my comment.
All right, thank you. Trish Pierce?
I did want to say earlier, Emily's mom and little brother and other relative did come for a while, but they were a little bit late, so we didn't get to recognize them, but they were here to support her earlier. I do hear all the parents talking on both sides of the fence of the masks and the vaccines. And personally, I feel that we should agree to disagree because some people have certain thoughts and opinions. And I do appreciate that the speaking has become a little more polite, and that we can all acknowledge that everybody has their own opinions, and that I think that's important. We do hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying, and I just wanted to let you know that.
Linda Porras.
Hi, I just want to thank you for all coming. I do appreciate you coming up and talking to us, and we do hear you. And our kids are the most important, and you're right, they are your kids, and they're our kids. And we do need to work together. So anyway, I just want to say that I appreciate what you're saying, and I do hear you. I want to welcome Emily to the board. Thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate your principal being here to support you. I just wanted to let everybody know that I attended the services for a teacher that we lost from Shadow Hills, Christian Trujillo. I went to his service. And I also attended the La Quinta High School Shadow Hills football game where they honored our hometown heroes, Corporal Hunters Lopez and Salvador Lule, who is still in the hospital in San Diego. And Trustee Anna Conover and I both visited 6 schools yesterday. She went to 7, I went to 6. But we went to Oliphant, visited Oliphant with Principal Jeff Hiskin. We visited several classrooms, and I just want to say that it was really wonderful to watch the Dare to Reach Out, watching them teach it. And the little kids were like sharing kindness and learning how to, connect with each other, which was really nice to see. Then we went to Hoover School, which is where I went from kindergarten to 6th grade. And Principal Karen Schiebler gave us a tour of Trish Schoenfeld's class, and it was great to see Trish teaching. She's a hardworking teacher, as all of our teachers are. And then we went to Roosevelt and saw Dr. Daniel Martinez, and we visited a few classrooms at his place with the library. They've redone the library, and it looks really, really nice. We also went to Amistad, Dr. Gustafson, and we visited the financial class, which actually prepares students for being out in the real world, which is not what I had when I was in high school. And so he's teaching them about bonds and having a checkbook and balancing and all that, which is really great. And they also have an automotive class there that's really high tech, and it's amazing to see because it's just like Honda or any of the other places that you see here in a regular automotive place. And he said that they actually have students go to the different places and have hands-on learning, so they can basically get a job and get hired right out of high school. And I got to see John Leonhard, who's one of my favorite people teaching at Amistad. Then we went to Indio High School, and I'm a Raja, so it's always exciting to go to Indio High School and see them. And we didn't go to the game. They had homecoming. We talked to Derek, and they had the homecoming game against Indio 29 Palms, and they beat by 1 point. And then he also told us that there were 681 students that went to the homecoming dance, and they had no incident, which is amazing. They did not have any problem, no fights or anything. And so anyway, that was awesome. And then we went to Madison and saw Mrs. Zink, and this is her first year at Madison, and it was really wonderful to see her, and we saw a lot of the remodeling that's going on there, and she's excited to see the new buildings completed, and she already has a plan for who's going to be in the buildings. I wanted to also say at the last meeting, we got some really beautiful flowers from the agricultural department from Indio High School and a t-shirt, and I did not thank them, and I just wanted to thank them for that because I really appreciate for them thinking of us. And I also just want to say that I really appreciate all of our teachers and the hard work that they put out for our students, and that they do a lot. They have done more than, and they've exceeded what they have been brought to them during this, our kids going back to school. And what I noticed is all the kids loved being at school. And anyway, I really appreciate you listening to me and taking the time. Thanks.
Anna Conover.
No comment.
No comment? Okay, then it's to me. I'm glad that you're here advocating for your students and that you have your own opinions. We will have to agree to disagree because I believe we're following the safest path for the best interest of all of our students, staff, and employees. Well, I think it is. And so again, I agree that parents, you guys have your decisions to make and you can make them based on whatever your response you want. So that will, okay. So that concludes board and superintendent comments. We will next go on to general function business services. Ooh.
It'll probably go on to okay. Okay. Okay, general function business services, we have a couple of resolutions. So first I'll ask, is there a motion to adopt resolution number 9, 2021-2022, the resolution of the Board of Education of Desert Sands Unified School District approving a school facilities mitigation agreement and a deposit and reimbursement agreement? Is there a motion to adopt that resolution?
So moved, Anna Conover.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Second, Linda Porras.
seconded by Linda Porras. Is there any discussion? Okay, I got a question for Jordan, probably. We're accepting an amount of money to do a study to see if we want to do the Mello-Roos agreement with Lennar, correct?
Excuse me, Barbara Cardick, if you could help facilitate some of the questions. So basically what we're doing is approving 4 different actions. One is the mitigation agreement for us to analyze the proposal that's being presented to us, and that is CFD 2021-1. And then the 3 other resolutions to address, I believe it's the bond indebtedness of up to $5 million, the boundary map, and I think I'm missing what's the other one? The mitigation agreement, I think. Barbara, could you help clarify? The question is on the 4 different resolutions, the actions.
Well, actually, this is just on the mitigation, because the question I always have when we do these Mello-Roos is, we look at a total cost of potentially getting $5 million over 20 years, as opposed to getting the square footage charge. But with the developer fees. But when we look at the developer fees, we never really do the present value of the $5 million over 20 years. So $5 million is always going to be more than the price per square foot. But I'm always concerned, will the mitigation agreement show us the present value of whatever the tax is going to be versus the present value of what they would actually pay us in the 6 months if they built? That's the question I have. And that's, it doesn't have to be answered now. It's just, we're going to approve the mitigation agreement, and I want to make sure that that piece of information is in there. Because if we're going to get hypothetically under $1 million, but then the present value of the $5 million over 5 years is less than that, then we're not really gaining anything by undertaking the Mello-Roos Act. Okay, I figured you would. All right. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the, this is a resolution. So Trish Pierce. She's not here. Where did she go?
Stepped out for a minute. She'll be
Well,
right back.
when she comes back, we'll do the provisional.
Okay.
But right now, Trish Pierce.
Aye.
Linda Porras. Anna Conover.
Aye.
And Don Griffith says aye, so that's 4-0. Okay, next is there a motion to adopt resolution number 10, 2021-2022, resolution of the Board of Education of Desert Sands Unified School District, stating its intention to establish a community facilities district number 2021-1 and authorize the levy of special taxes.
So moved, Anna Conover.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Tricia Pierce. Second by Tricia Pierce.
Seconded by Tricia Pierce. Any discussion on this issue? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. This is also a roll call vote. Trish Pierce.
Aye.
Linda Porras.
Aye.
Anna Conover. Don Griffith says aye, so that carries 4-0. Okay, 18.3, resolution number 11, 2021-2022, resolution of the Board of Education of the Desert Sands Unified School District, stating the intention to incur bonded indebtedness in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $5 million within the proposed Community Facilities District number 2021-1 of the Desert Sands Unified School District. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution? By Anna Conover. Is there a second? Seconded by Linda Porras. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Tricia Pierce.
Aye.
Linda Porras. Anna Conover.
Aye.
Donald Griffith says aye. That carries 4-0. Last resolution, resolution number 12, 2021-2022, resolution of the Board of Education of Desert Sands Unified School District, approving and ordering the recording of a boundary map, proposed community facilities district number 2021-1. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved, Anna Conover.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Linda Porras.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Roll call vote. Tricia Pierce.
Aye.
Linda Porras.
Aye.
Anna Conover. Aye. Donald Griffith says aye. That carries 4-0. Okay, moving on to general function educational services. We actually have another resolution. So 19.1 is resolution number 8, 2021-2022, the pupil textbook and instructional materials compliance for the fiscal year 2021-2022. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved, Linda Porras.
Moved by Linda Porras. Is there a second?
Second by Tricia Pierce.
Seconded by Tricia Pierce. Is there any discussion? Okay, this is a roll call vote. So Emily Pruitt, Tricia Pierce,
Aye.
Linda Porras,
Aye.
Anna Conover, Donald Griffiths states aye. That carries 5-0. We have 3 other agreements under educational services. We can take these as a group or take these separately. Is there a motion to either take these as a group or separately?
Make a motion to take general functions, ed services, item number 19.2 to 19.4 as a group.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Linda Porras.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Is there any discussion on any of these 3 items? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Provisional vote? Emily, provisional vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. General function personnel services. Is there 4 of these? How many of these are there? There's 4. None of them are resolutions. Is there a motion to take general function personnel services 20.1 to 20.4 as a group or individually?
I move we take general functions personnel services 20.1 through 20.4 as a group.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Second, Linda Porras.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Is there a discussion on any of these items other than 20.1? As a proud Cal State Fullerton Titan and former student teacher there, I'm happy to see that we are reaching an agreement with Cal State Fullerton. Tusks up. Anybody else?
Just want to do the same comment. Basically, we're helping to train these teachers and hoping that they'll come back.
Flying from the ground up.
Yeah.
Any other discussions? Okay, hearing none. Call for the question. Preferential vote? Preferential vote? Emily? Aye. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. General function student support services. We have second reading of 2 board policies. Is there a motion to take 20.1 and 20.2 together, or we would like to take these individually?
Take them together, Linda Porras.
Porras, is there a second?
Second.
Linda Pruitt seconds it.
Seconded by Emily Pruitt. Is there a discussion on any of these or either of these items? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. General function superintendent, there's 1 item, so second reading of the adoption of the board policy. Is there a motion to approve this item? By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Seconds.
Seconded by Emily Pruitt. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. Do you want to call out the consent items on student matters, Mr. Bailey?
I do. Item 23.1. As related to closed agenda item 3.1, tonight in closed session, the board took action to approve stipulated expulsion number 21-22-05. This motion carried. A motion was initiated by Mrs. Porras, seconded by Mrs. Conover, carried 4-0 with 1 absent.
Okay, consent items, business services, we have 13 items. Is there a motion to take consent items, business services 24.1 to 24.13 as a group, or partially, or pull them
I move to take consent items, business services 24.1 to, wait a minute, 24.13, thank you.
By Tricia Pierce?
As a group.
By Tricia Pierce. Is there a second?
Linda Pruitt seconds.
Seconded by Emily Pruitt. Is there a discussion on any of these 13 items? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That carries 5-0. Consent items, ed services, there's 2 items. Take these as a group or individually.
Do we take them as a group?
DePorres, second.
Emily Pruitt seconds.
Seconded by Emily Pruitt. Any discussion on these? Just say the Anderson Children's Fund. I don't know how much money they give us every year, but they're always giving nice charitable contributions to our school. So I know they were in the Hall of Fame at one time, but we lost those pictures. So, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. Consent items, personnel services, we don't have any. Consent items, student support services, we have 6 items, 27.1 to 27.6. Is there a motion to take these together or as a group or individually? Or as a group?
I feel that we take them as a group, 27.1 to 27.6. Linda Porras.
Porras, is there a second? Seconded by Emily Pruitt. Any discussion on any of these 6 items? Okay, hearing none, call for the question. Preferential vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. Okay. Consent item, superintendent, we have none. Personnel actions, Emily, you don't get a vote on these because they're personnel. Okay. So we have the personnel action items certificated, and we have a item. Dr. Hyde, are you going to read that or am I? Oh, I circled the wrong one. Okay, so certificated personnel actions, do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved, Anna Conover.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Second by Tricia Pierce.
Seconded by Tricia Pierce. We have nobody retiring this time, so that's unusual. Any other comments on the certificated? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, I think that was 4-0. Okay, now personnel actions classified. Do you want to read this out or should I? Dr. Hyde?
I can. We are pleased to recommend the appointment of Patricia Leone to the position of mental health therapist and Lynn Perper to the position of project manager.
Okay, with that addition to 30.1 agenda items 24 and 25, is there a motion to approve the classified personnel actions?
Anna Conover.
By Anna Conover.
Linda Porras, second.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Is there any discussion?
Welcome
Okay,
to
we
the
got 3
family.
retirees. Della Abril, Donna Adair, and Heidi Puga. Total combined 48 years of experience, so we wish them good luck in their retirement and many happy journeys.
I remember Della being in K-King for so many years, and when I was a new teacher here back in 90, then she was always there to get the materials. I came with nothing as a new teacher, and back then you could borrow classroom libraries and everything to get started, and I can't believe she's finally, she's been synonymous with K-King, so wish her luck in her retirement.
Discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 4-0. We don't have any closed session items because we already did the student matters, so that's off. Suggestions for future agendas. Emily, this is your time to make suggestions on anything you would like to add to the agenda for your next and only meeting, so make it good. You don't have to have one.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like thinking.
Tricia Pierce, do you have any items you'd like to add to the agenda?
No, not at this time.
Linda Porras?
I have none, thank you.
None. Anna Conover?
I do.
Okay.
I know the year just started. I know that we recently hired the intervention specialists and things like that, but I would like an update on how the intervention is going in the classrooms, what it's looking like. I know I did see during my visits, some of it in action, but that could be in a Friday letter. It could be.
It actually is in this Friday letter that you'll be receiving.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any new thoughts or ideas. Mr. Bailey? Nope. Okay, announcements. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education is Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 at 7 p.m. in the District Education Boardroom located at 47950 Dune Palms Road, La Quinta, California. Any other announcements? Okay, we are not reconvening into closed session, and this meeting is adjourned at 8:35.